How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Concordia Jedi. I'm Asher. This is Joe.
And I'm Aaron.
Yep. He's too cool to introduce himself. I'm Joe. So we're here to give you just some general Star Wars talk on today's topic, our favorite scene in the franchise, or our favorite moment from the franchise. Aaron, why don't you start?
Wow, throwing me on the spot.
I can go first if you want me to, but I'd start with you.
I mean, I don't really necessarily have a favorite scene, but I'd say it's probably near the top. Probably one I'll give the honorable mention to is the crate battle scene. And I specifically, kind of narrowing it down because I bet people would. I love that whole scene, the whole crate battle.
Me too. Yeah.
But if there's a specific part of that which is really, that's really hard to say already. I mean, it's already hard to break it down that far. But I guess I'd say Luke versus Kylo, and I think I say that because as kind of some people and groups have been saying, and we've talked about this, you and me, on the channel here a couple times, is that's probably the most Jedi thing that's ever been done by a Jedi in Star Wars, and it's just a beautiful scene.
It is. What about you, Joe? Your favorite moment from the series?
You go first.
All right. I would have to say my favorite moment from the entire franchise is Luke's final moments in his duel with Darth Vader, where specifically from Darth Vader's line, "If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will," to right after Luke cuts off Vader's hand. I would say that's probably my favorite moment in the entire franchise. Just everything about that scene is absolutely perfect to me. I love the music, I love the lighting, the acting, the raw emotion. It's just a fantastic scene. I love everything. I mean, everything about that scene, especially the music. I think that's one of my favorite pieces by John Williams. I don't know the exact name of the piece. I think on the album it's something about the Death Star. I think it's like the Battle Above Endor, I think, and it's part of that. It's part of that track. But where I found it was a track from the Star Wars: The Old Republic game called "The Dark Side Beckons." It's the same piece, just under a different name. So that's usually what I call it, "The Dark Side Beckons," because I think that also works with the final part where it does fit in with the film with Luke and Vader. It's just a fantastic scene. I love it. What about you, Joe?
Probably episode 3.
You have a favorite moment from it?
The last part.
Which of Vader? Or
Well, it's Anakin and
Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's a pretty good scene. I mean, I like the tension. You can see where he kind of falls off after.
Yeah.
Especially with the Temple and the 501st Legion.
Yeah.
And you see how everything's piecing together from the original trilogy, and how he got defeated, how he has to wear the suit now.
Yeah.
And the choreography of the saber is just probably the best by far.
Still the best duel we've ever gotten from Star Wars. And the thing is, they practiced that none of that was digitally sped up, their fight, aside from the scenes where they like jump using the Force and that kind of stuff, where they have to do like flips and stuff. But the actual sword fighting, that was all done in real time, all choreographed by Hayden and Ewan, with the sword artist, I believe, is what they're called, but the stage combat instructor, the choreographer. Over, I think, 6 months it took them. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was like a period of 6 months it took them to get that entire thing down, like, to a T. and it really paid off. That is still my favorite duel in Star Wars. It's just so energized. And when people say like the prequels lack emotion and characters, I just pointed to that whole duel because the whole thing is just so emotionally driven.
And also, if you ever see any of the bonus features from Episode 3, that's either out there on the internet or on the bonus feature disc or on the one DVD. I don't know how they do it anymore. I remember back in the day when they gave you had the two DVD set.
Yeah, the film and then the special features.
Right. But they also had some of the special features on the disc, but they had extra stuff. They talk all about that fight, and what I think is so cool is how in depth they go, and then they show kind of the fun moments that they had, like the sword artist that he was talking about was choreographer and everything. He was talking about how it was so serious and so tense, and then all of a sudden there's either a mistake or something funny happen, boom, break, they'd be laughing. And then they get right back into it. And my favorite moment.
So when Ewan gets his hand hit.
No, not Ewan. No, Hayden gets his hand hit by Ewan, and it's hilarious how just the whole thing happens, and you can see how not just the brotherhood that there is between Anakin and Obi-Wan that's kind of having the tension, but in the fun in the moment, because how Hayden and Ewan kind of became brothers, if you will, through Star Wars. And you see right there, so Ewan accidentally, when he's going for the saber, he misses and whacks Hayden's hand, and Hayden drops the saber that's got the stick in it, and he just drops it, and Ewan just goes, "Oh, fingers!" it kills me every time I watch that, because it just.
I love the little special feature where he sees Hayden with the Jedi mullet for the first time. He's like, "Oh, he's got the big Jedi mullet going on, huh?"
Oh, the other thing I like is when they put like the skin of him when he's burnt up, and then he's got the little thing on the bottom, and he's just.
Did you ever see when they show the the blue screen footage, like Hayden's crawling up after he's been burned by the lava, and then he just looks at Ken and goes, "Oh, I hate you."
No, I didn't see that part.
Oh my, it's hilarious. Just look it up, like it shows like part of the film where he's crawling up.
Because I saw that part, but I didn't hear that.
It goes back to the blue screen footage, and he just goes, "Oh, I hate you." it's fantastic. I think we still got a little time for the video. What are some? What do you guys want to do? Least favorite scenes in franchise? Or?
I don't have one, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I don't.
Let's say you have to choose a scene that, like, I know you don't really dislike, but what would you say is the one you like the least? Put it that way. Like, you don't dislike it, but you dislike it the least.
There's not even one of those. I mean, it's because I love Star Wars so much, and I don't really have a scene that I. There's nothing that.
Well, just give it a go. Try to think.
I can't even.
I'll go first. While I'm going, why don't you try to think of something? All right. I would say so far probably my least favorite scene from anything in the franchise is, oddly enough, a scene from. As bad as some of the prequel movies are, neither of them make the least favorite spot for me. My least favorite spot goes to Solo, A Star Wars Story. When he signs up for the Imperial Academy and they ask, like, what is your company? I don't have a company. And I say, what's your name? Han. It's like, Han Solo. I'm just like, you didn't need to do that. Come on. So his name's not even really Solo, which is bonkers why they did that.
He always works alone.
What?
Typically works alone usually.
I know, but come on, we've got guys in Star Wars with names like Kenobi. There's Skywalker. There's
Reylo.
No. There's Organa. Just so many weird names. Ponda Baba. That's one of the guys they meet in the cantina. Obi-Wan cuts his arm. I mean, is that is it really such a stretch that there would be a guy who has the last name Solo? Why was that necessary to put in?
Ask Kathleen.
I don't know. That's I'd say if I mean I do kind of hate it, but I don't. It's not enough to make me hate the movie. It's just I think, in my opinion, a stupid scene. What about you, Joe? Least favorite moment from the series? All right.
I don't.
Just choose something, like something that, at the very least, something you think could have been done better.
And choose wisely.
That's what I'm trying to do. Gosh darn it! Shush. Because it's so hard to think of anything that I would want to critique or that what I don't really like.
You wouldn't even change the. I don't like sand. You wouldn't even change that, or at least
Honestly,
tweak it a bit to make it sound like it's not coming out of a psychopath.
Well, all you gotta do is just say it in a different way.
Like,
you can still say the same lines and whatever. It just was the delivery. Other than that, I mean, seriously, I mean, it's like the whole, there's.
Well, even the line is kind of stupid. I mean,
okay.
There's
Think about this.
Hold on. I know why he says the line. To him, like, sand is overrated because he grew up on a planet of the stuff.
Well, not just that, but think about it.
And I know that he's awkward. He's never really had any, like, interactions with girls romantically. And, like, this is the first time trying to smooth talk someone. It doesn't go over well. I can see why.
Well, that's another thing. But the other thing is...
Imagine the line, like, she's like, we lie out on the sand and let the sun dry us. And he just said, like, instead of saying, like, I don't like sand, he just say, it's nothing special. I grew up on a planet of it. I think that would have been a way better line.
Well, right, but the other thing is, the way I think of it, on top of the other things that you mentioned, love makes you do and say weird things, and you don't know why you say, and it could be some of the stupidest crap you've ever made up or said in your entire life. You're trying to say something legitimate, and you think you are, and then you're like, oh, that's not that great. And so, in my mind, what I'm thinking is, okay, like he's trying to smooth talk her. He's never really done this before, and he really likes her.
I know
and
that.
So, with that said, he's trying, and well, it didn't really work out that well. And I think that makes it
big time.
And I think that makes it more real to me because I think
I know. I think that we could have done without that stupid line. I think we could have changed it up, and it would have been better.
Well, don't get me wrong, things could have been tweaked, absolutely, but I still think in the way that it was done, still was done very well.
That feels better. That feels worse than me trying Tinder.
Wait, what?
He said it failed worse than him trying out Tinder. But, so really there's no scenes. You can't think of a single one?
That I
What about some of the Jar Jar stuff?
I love Jar Jar.
I know you
it.
do, but come on, dude. The poop scene or the fart scene. You wouldn't just say, "Yep, maybe the film will be stronger if we took that out."
Remember that before Episode 8 was my favorite Star Wars movie.
I know that, but
What?
Yeah, before
that
Episode
was his
8, that was my favorite
before
Star Wars movie. It
Episode
was
8.
Episode 1.
I know. I find it.
What has he been taking seriously?
I don't know.
But I mean, and
He says he loves Jar Jar.
and I love Jar Jar. I grew up with
I
that.
don't hate. I don't hate Jar Jar as much as the internet does, but good God, even I can see why the internet hates him so much and why pretty much everyone hates him.
There's a group of people that don't, and I'm
Jar Jar
one of those
fan
few
clubs.
people.
Jar
Well,
Jar.
I'm not that far in. I like Jar Jar. I don't love Jar Jar. I like him. He is that comedic factor that I think is good to be there. It's good for kids. You know,
We're not gonna lose subscribers over this. We get like what 10 views a video. It's like one person. I don't like this. Whoa, gone.
but I
Thanks,
mean,
Aaron.
well, I'm sorry.
We lost a whole subscriber because of you.
I mean,
can think
look,
that.
I mean, and there are many reasons why I love Episode 1. And Jar Jar has minute, if anything. The thing that I really love about Episode 1, in my mind, is, well, first of all, before getting really in depth about anything, I mean, it's the beginning. You see some things that hint back to the original trilogy, but you also see things that hint to things far before, things we've never even heard of or seen, and there's this mystic thing about it. And so then you got, this is all also way before the
you
originals.
got all this mystic stuff,
right.
all these incredible tiebacks, these great performances,
right?
From,
and so then you have
Ewan
Liam
McGregor
Neeson,
and Liam Neeson,
right?
All thrown in with poop jokes.
And I think
something doesn't seem right there.
Now, then you also have the thing that it has. Also, Episode 1 has my favorite sound in all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Hold on, it's on here somewhere. Let me. Just gotta go to the right thing. I know the one you're talking about. It's during the opening fight scene.
It's there. It's also in Droid Battle on Naboo, and it's also in when Obi-Wan and Maul are fighting after
Qui-Gon gets hurt, killed.
Qui-Gon gets stabbed.
Yeah.
So you have there's that, and then also I think, and Asher agrees with me on this, that in Episode 1, the lightsabers out of all the episodes look the best.
The blades of the lightsabers in Episode 1 have that perfect blend of, it looks like the rotoscope,
but it's also a blend
of like the new. So I just love the looks. All right, see if I can find the right font, the sound. Right there. He loves that one.
It's just, I love that. And I also love again, we're big Star Wars fans, so I'm getting real deep into this. You have, the Sith are showing themselves for the first time in over 1,000 years? A millennium. And it's like mind-boggling.
As was so eloquently stated by Dickhead Jedi. That's what I call Ki-Adi-Mundi. I just call him Dickhead Jedi.
That's horrible. Bleep that out. Anyway,
no.
So you've got that. There's so much in this story, and I love the story. And then I know it's off a little. I know, but I love, especially because I saw this when I was littler.
Yeah, it's got a big nostalgia factor.
It's got a big nostalgia factor, and also being a big nostalgia factor. When I was little, oh my gosh, I thought Jar Jar was the most hilarious thing ever. Now, yes, now I don't think so. I still like him. I still think he's funny, but I don't think he's the most hilarious thing ever.
As I could tell, we were watching it the other night, and you were quoting every line that he was doing.
Well,
him.
that was because I was in a weird mood. There were some times where I just need something to make me feel better, and at that moment, right then and there, it was just Jar Jar being Jar Jar, and it just made me feel good. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds wrong maybe to some people, but that just, it's, like I said, it's
quite a long way of saying you don't have anything you'd change, or anything you dislike. You've been talking
change... Maybe if done right.
All right, give us a scene you would change. Something that I guess you could say you like, but you think could have been changed to something better.
I think maybe some of the delivery of Jar Jar, and maybe some of his jokes and some of the other things I think could have been done better. I think they were done for at the time and for the audience that was targeted, which was for kids, to try and get people back into Star Wars. Because what was it? How many years since Return of the Jedi?
19 years.
Right, and so you're trying to get people back in it. You're trying to bring back a child fan base. Yeah. I can see that, and I understand that. And Could it have been done better? Could it have some of the delivery? Because it's a great story overall if you take Jar Jar out, but I still love Jar Jar. I still love him in there.
I feel like the story for Phantom Menace, if it had been reworked, like, it feels like what they came up with was more of a rough draft that they ran with than an overall finished product. In terms of the script.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
Here's the thing. I feel like if the script had just been reworked one more time, the film would have been good. As it stands right now, I still like it. I don't know if I would call it necessarily a good film objectively.
Like I said, a good.
All right, let's move on from you, Taki. Joe,
Are you alive?
it's a scene you don't like from series, or a least favorite scene from this franchise.
Well, I have a few.
Well, just give us one.
Give us
Aaron,
the top one.
Thanks to Aaron, we don't have a ton of time left.
Well, I got two I can't decide.
All right, tell us two.
One's when Rey's trapped in episode 7, where she somehow knows the Jedi mind trick, which out of the blue she knows it already.
I can see.
Then the other ones where Rose is talking about war, that quote, oh my god. Oh my god. Why?
Yeah.
No more speaking lines for you, like Deadpool said, please.
I don't know.
But she...
I feel Rose is in a similar boat as with the script episode. I think if
at least Jar Jar had some
if
humor.
I think if rewritten or taken back to the drawing board for a bit, I think those lines wouldn't have been.
Well, who the hell wrote?
But
whoever wrote that quote needs just to get fired. That makes no logical sense.
Which one? The
whatsoever.
"Saving What We Love" quote?
Yeah, with the war not destroy. It's like, are you kidding me? Please.
I can see again. It's kind of like the whole thing with Anakin and the Sand. I can see why they wrote it. It's to show that she's never been in a real war before. She's always been spending her times down in the pipes working as an engineer. And when she gets her first taste of war, she says, "Let's not fight what we hate. Let's say what we love." And everyone else is like, "What the hell are you talking about? This is war, bitch!" Sorry.
That needs to be.
But the
I'm
one,
not believing that.
the one that I really can't stand is Rey. How the hell does she know this?
I don't
How
know.
does she know the trick?
I don't know.
Okay, here's
I
my
feel
reasoning.
like hold on. I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd just be trying out anything I could.
It's like if somebody was crazy enough in solitary confinement on like Alcatraz or something, and they're like, "Release me from solitary confinement."
I will release you
Okay.
from solitary. Why didn't I try
What?
that before?
Why?
No, the reason, the way I understand it, and I think it was done well actually. But the thing is Rey is because it's been confirmed about this. Is the stronger Kylo grows, the more she goes because she's the balance of the dark. And so one of the things also is that the fact that she knows the mysticism and everything about the Jedi.
Yeah, she's heard the
she's
stories of
heard
Luke
the stories.
Skywalker.
And she's heard the stories of Luke
I
Skywalker.
don't
Probably
recall,
heard this
I don't
story.
recall Luke ever doing
And-
that mind trick, really.
Oh, he did the mind trick several times.
When?
Remember, he did it to. He tried to do it to Jabba for one thing, and then he did it to his guard. That you will take me to Jabba now. They leave
It was
him
only
Jabba.
twice.
Well, not just
That's
that, but you
several
also
times.
have things that weren't in the films that happen in between
Yeah.
6 and 7. So, and not just of Luke Skywalker, you also have the stories of the Jedi far
Yeah.
before Luke Skywalker.
Mm.
So she knew
But
of
they
knew
make
this.
it very clear
But
that she's heard the
trained
stories of
to
the
do it
Jedi,
would
but
be
I can see why you have issues with that. And,
Right,
and
and I
all
do
honesty,
too.
when I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know how she did that. Like it struck me as
She
a lot
has to
psychopathic.
train to hone the skill first, too.
Not necessarily, because
That'd
some
be
people,
like-
and I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, some people are gifted.
I'm talking.
Shut the fuck up. That we're believing.
Okay, that won't bleep up. But no, I mean, here's the thing though. People will say like, "How did Rey do this without training?" I always point to, well, how the heck did Anakin fly a ship that he had never even seen before in his life and
He
blow
pod
up the droid
raced.
controls? Is a pod racer a pod racer is not the same as a Naboo starfighter, just like a staff isn't the same as a lightsaber. So if you have problems with that, why don't you have problems with that?
What?
That's what if you have problems with if people who have problems with Rey using a lightsaber when she'd never held one before, even though she was using it like she does. Like she wasn't using it like a normal Jedi would have saber. She was like slashing with like that, using the momentum of one end. I'm not gonna hit you. If you have problems with that, but you don't have a problem with a 9-year-old kid flying in a starship and then blowing up a droid control ship when he's never flown that thing before in his life, I don't know what to say.
That's be like driving regular in racing.
I know, but
how different is that? Way different.
But did you see
could
it?
do it.
Did you also see how many Naboo starfighters were killed off in that fight?
Because they suck.
Well, then they must have the crappiest Air Force in the galaxy.
Air Force.
Space Force, whatever.
Now I'm getting political.
Yeah.
We will build a space force. I've got my R2 unit over here.
Oh dear Lord.
No, but they must have the crappiest Space Force in the galaxy if a 9-year-old boy lasts longer than they do. I imagine that, the pilot's like, what's that? It's blowing up from the inside. We didn't hit it. Yeah, no, I know you didn't hit it, Todd. Just Todd. His name is Todd for right now.
The way you make up
I know.
things for commentary. This guy is bloody hilarious when it comes to making up things.
I want to do commentary for these films at some point. Anyway, but
you should.
But I mean, like, it's like I imagine those pilots when they saw this 9-year-old kid, they all just went to the bar to drink, and they're just like, yeah. So this is a low point in our careers, right? Better outflown by a 9-year-old. Oh my God.
You shouldn't have sold it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the whole thing. Like, I think a lot of the issues that people have with Rey can easily be thrown back to issues that people could have had with Anakin and Luke to some extent. Because Empire does one thing is like, how was Rey able to beat Kylo? Well, without any training. Well, first of all, Kylo had just been shot with a gun that's been known to knock people back several feet. And he took it like a champ without moving.
Normally, and sometimes it's not even just the shot that kills. Normally, it's the throwback.
And he was bleeding out. Remember?
Yeah.
He kept like hitting himself in the side, trying to make himself angrier. Then he also got stabbed in the arm by a lucky shot from Finn.
No wonder why he's not.
Also, he just killed his father, which the novel clearly describes as, and for lack of better words, screwing up his head. I found a better word just at the last moment I was about to say. But yeah, that screwed up his head. And so Kylo was just not in the best state of mind. I think if he had been smarter, he would have retreated and then gotten off the place as soon as they realized we're being attacked. But yeah. But whereas Luke, he was on Dagobah for what? How long? I think 2 weeks max, if I'm going by just what the film gives us. Because they never that's probably my biggest problem with Empire Strikes Back. They never establish how long it takes the Falcon to get to Cloud City and how long Luke is on Dagobah. And if you're going it's longer in this system but shorter in this system, that just confuses things even more. So I think at best, Luke, given what the film is, Luke was probably there for like 2 weeks max.
I like that meme where they have Anakin, Luke, and then Rey, where with Anakin it goes, it takes years to hone the skills of all.
What's this thing?
And then we have like a few weeks with Luke, and then we got Rey who goes, huh? Like,
yeah. I mean,
I thought that was funny.
It is funny, but I mean, if Luke could take on Vader at full strength with just 2 weeks of training, I don't see why Rey who has been training and defending herself, living alone for pretty much her entire life, I don't see why she couldn't take on a emotionally unstable and physically damaged guy.
Right, and on top of that, another thing that, there's tons of things to back up.
Before you go on that, and people will often use that as a way of saying, well, Kylo's weak then? Like, he's a pussy? I'm like, no, he's just doing what his grandfather did several times. Anakin was always, in Luke too, his uncle. Luke and Anakin, these guys were always rushing into things that they shouldn't have been. Luke rushed off to face Vader when he wasn't ready. Anakin rushed to face Dooku and got his ass handed to him.
That went well.
No, I'm taking him now. Nope. Just like that. I love that scene because it's just the equivalent of a Sith bitch slap.
We're gonna have to bleep a lot of
No,
stuff
where
out.
I'll bleep out the F bomb, but some of this I think is too funny to be bleeped out. Just the equivalent of a Sith bitch slap is it's like nope. But and Kylo does the same thing. Where he should have retreated, he was just too filled with anger and rushed out to face two opponents when he had a freaking hole in his side.
Nah, he's an idiot.
Well, Anakin was too, and Luke was at times. This is a Skywalker.
It's a
thing.
Skywalker thing, right? Exactly.
And people are always people also say like Kylo's too whiny. Luke was whiny. Anakin was whiny. This is
It's
just
a
a Skywalker thing. They're like, well, why is Kylo so whiny? Why is he
Even
bad? Why
Leia
he
is
bad?
to a degree, but not as bad as.
Yeah, Leia's like the
No,
only.
Mary Poppins is not that crybaby.
Leia was the only Skywalker I think I have never really seen in a bitchy scene.
You gotta admit,
Like
when
what?
she comes right in front of Vader in the first one,
No, that was just her being like, "Oh, look at you, Vader. Only you could be so bull." That was just more of a. I think that was more of a just trying to show no fear in front of this.
right?
guy
I know,
who
but
could kill you.
still, the way she does it,
The
though.
way she says, I could see why you might think, but
I mean,
even then, I don't think that's nearly as like.
oh, it's not.
I
That's
was going to Tashi Station to become some power converter.
yeah, I know it's not nearly the same,
Oh,
but it
bitch is
shows.
right. I'm never gonna get out of here. This
Right.
isn't fair.
It doesn't show the same thing, but I think in another sense you see it with Leia. Like I said, in front of Vader, in front of
Yeah.
Tarkin. You know, some of the times where she's in front of the enemy and kind of, you know, taunting them, if you will. Yes, it's not the same as Luke and Anakin, but
And
I
it's-
think
it's
it's
not
a different
whining.
and
It's just something else.
and Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. But I think it's the same idea.
I honestly think, out of all the Skywalkers we've seen so far, maybe with the exception of Luke, I think Kylo's probably the least whiny that I've seen. I mean, he has scenes where he's where he's emotional, but I haven't seen too many scenes where he's actually whining or complaining. The only scene I can think of so far where I've seen him, like, physically having, like, the only two scenes I can think of where I've seen him, like, physically having a temper tantrum were one where he's slashing up the console. And
Yeah, I love that scene.
And even then,
Just
just the way he turns around and just goes, anything else? I love that. That keeps me from calling that guy a crybaby in that scene because I think it was just his way of saying, shit. Anything else?
there is a girl with what girl?
What girl? I think that was just pissed off to no end than whiny. But him like smashing his helmet, I think that was a bit more whiny because in the elevator he's got the